What is good with the YouTube? It is your boy Sean Rock to the represent Mandatory Thrive, because every day it is mandatory for us to thrive, and I am back again with another video. And in this video I want to talk to you guys about a subject that is not really talked about a lot in the black community. It's definitely not talked about as much around black men, but it's been something that I've struggled with pretty much my whole life. I want to talk a little bit about anxiety, and the different things that anxiety affect. So for as long as I can remember, I've struggled with anxiety. I've struggled to sleep due to anxiety. I've struggled to be productive and be able to have laser-like focus due to anxiety, whether it was in school, in a sport, in a relationship, in a social setting, pretty much anything I could think of. I've struggled with anxiety, growing up and stuff. Now, I didn't realize or really understand that I had an anxiety issue until I was around about 22. That's when I really recognized and understood that I had a strong issue with anxiety. And at that point, all of my habits that I used to deal with my anxiety was all really unhealthy. The way I dealt with anxiety a lot of times before I knew what it was definitely, number one, was promiscuity. I was very promiscuous to help me to kind of calm my anxiety and my irritability. Another way I dealt with anxiety was I just switched from task to task. Like, I could never really stay on one single task for longer than maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. And it kind of helped calm my anxiety down, because usually around the 10-minute mark of doing a task is when my anxiety usually would kick in. And so I would switch to tasks in order to kind of relieve myself. Another way, of course, I used for dealing with anxiety, which was probably the biggest one that I used, was drinking and smoking black and milds. So I would kind of drink from the age of 16 on to 22. I would kind of drink, not a lot of drinking, just enough to soothe the anxiety, but definitely a lot of black and mild smoking. Now, when you have anxiety, there's certain tools that I've used to help me kind of start working on overcoming it today. And I want to give you guys those tools and talk about how they help me. The number one tool that's really helped me to deal with my anxiety has been working out, training every day. Physical training releases endorphin. As hard as it is, as difficult as it is to maintain, when you strength train and then do cardio, these two things combined give so many of those endorphin benefits. It gives so many rewarding feelings, and then it's just a great discipline. It really relieves not only anxiety, but stress, depression, different things. So one of the tips I would tell somebody is to consistently get exercise in, get quality exercise in, because that's going to help you out a lot. The second thing that I've done that's healthy to help me with my anxiety is that I've put a bigger emphasis on sleep. Now, when you have anxiety, getting sleep is a very, very difficult thing. So for me, because I have anxiety, I normally can't sleep very consistently unless I have some type of substitute helping me. So I started taking melatonin, right, to get rest, and I find that if I'm getting anywhere between 6 to 9 hours of rest every single night, my anxiety definitely is under control. So you gotta get good rest. You gotta get good rest. So you gotta exercise. You gotta get good rest. The third thing is a big one too, is you gotta breathe, and you gotta not overreact to those feelings of anxiety. Because to me, when I've always overreacted to my feelings of anxiety, all I've done is just duplicated them. I'm worrying about if I'm about to have an anxiety attack, because I've literally had anxiety attacks. Like, I remember going on a trip with a church trip one time, and we were getting on a boat in the water, and I literally had an anxiety attack, like a real panic anxiety attack. That wasn't the only time that's happened. I've had many situations in my life where I had unbearable anxiety attacks. So, you got to relax, you got to breathe, and you got to talk to yourself in your head, to tell yourself to stay under control, don't panic, relax, and that it's going to be cool. That's the main thing. The main thing with any type of struggle, whether it's depression, sexual addiction, anxiety, whatever the case may be, like, you have to do the internal work, because all of the stuff outside can put a band-aid over it, but it's never going to reconcile or heal it to the way where you can really have balance. And then another thing too is, like, I don't beat myself up when I struggle with it, when sometimes it gets out of control, or whatever the case may be. That's another thing that you can't do. You can't beat yourself up about the challenges you face. You have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with not being perfect. You got to be okay with moving forward and doing what's necessary that you need to do. So for you men out there, man, like, we got to be honest. We got to be honest, and we got to be real with ourselves about those deep rooted topics that we don't want to address and that we don't want to talk about. And I'm stepping out on a limb and saying, hey, I got to talk about this, and I'm going to be fighting this, every day, and conquering it every day. So that's all I got. Remember, dream big, work hard, live great, don't stop. It's your boy Sean Rock Tuna. I'm signing out. Peace.